We call it STEM Music indeed. Welcome to the STEMusic Podcast Next Generation, where we highlight students interested in STEM and the music they love. I'm your host, Roy Moy III, and today we have two incredible guests on this podcast. One of our guests is a freshman biology pre-med student at Newman University, while our other guest is a freshman aerospace engineering student minoring in business administration at Wichita State University. They are both 2024 recipients of the STEMusic Book Scholarship, and I'm excited to catch up with them today. STEMusic Nation, please help me welcome Aniya Thompson and Elgin Earl to the STEMusic Next Generation podcast.
Everywhere we go, call it STEMusic. People gotta know, call it STEMusic. We gon' make it flow. Call it STEMusic, call it STEMusic, call it STEMusic. Everywhere we go, call it STEMusic.
You good? Chilling? Yeah? Okay, cool. So first, I just want to thank you for taking the time to come on the podcast, to share your story, your journey. The Next Generation podcast is all about telling the story of those students who decide, hey, I want to get into STEM. They win a scholarship from STEMusic, our book scholarship, but then also what their aspirations are, like what y'all are thinking about, what you want to do with this career and this journey in STEM. So that kind of brings in our first question, which is going to be for you starting, Aniya. What got you into STEM? Like, why was that a world that you said, you know what, let me look into this. Let me see what this is about. And then let me actually go into it in college.
So I went to Brooks Middle School, which was a STEM middle school. So that kind of introduced me to more of the science department. And then when I got to high school, I went to Northeast Magnet, and they have specific magnets. So I went to the science biomed magnet, which also furthered my interest in science. And then I just went on from there.
So at Northeast Magnet, they have different, like, I guess, pockets isn't the right word, but like they have different areas where you can designate, hey, this is what I want to study. Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's really cool, because if you have that interest, then you can lean in that direction. Okay, cool. And then Elgin, how about you? I know you mentioned something about middle school robotics.
Yeah.
So is that kind of the entry point?
That's like kind of when it started. But I think it honestly started when I was a little kid.
Okay.
I always liked building stuff like Legos and stuff like that. And then I think it kind of just like, once you start like to see the other side of things like coding and stuff like that, in middle school, I was kind of like interested. And then I saw engineering, but then I didn't know what kind of engineering. And then so like I saw aerospace, and then I went to Spirit, and I was like, I kind of like aerospace. And so I got to see new things like the defense like wing of Spirit, where like they work with the military and stuff like that. So I thought like aerospace would just be a good place to go.
So that was like a tour or something that you did?
Yeah.
With your school, or just you?
Just me, yeah.
What? You had some access to Spirit Aerosystems? Yeah. Let me find out. Of course, for the audience, I just left Spirit after a 9-year career to jump to do STEM music full time. So that's really dope that you had that opportunity by getting to go into Spirit and see what some of the options are. So that's good. That leads right into the next topic and question is the major. So you kind of mentioned it, Elgin, of aerospace engineering, getting that peek into the aerospace world and that kind of solidifying why you wanted to get into aerospace. But I'm curious because, of course, I majored in aerospace engineering. Were you, so you said you like to take things apart, put it together, that sort of thing. But were you also like obsessed with airplanes growing up, or like?
Yeah, airplanes.
What? Okay, but tell me more about that, because I rarely get a chance to meet people who are the same in that sense.
I think I just used to wonder like, how do planes fly?
Okay.
What makes a plane fly? Like you see pictures of like the cockpit, and then like you see like all the different switches, but you're like, what do they do? And so like as an engineer, you get to know what do those things do, and you get to build new ones. You get to remake them. Like you get to just do what you really want to do.
Okay, so do you happen to have like a favorite plane out there?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. I think I like the jets and stuff like that.
Like fighter jets or like
fighter jets.
Okay.
Like fighter jets.
Okay.
Like commercial airplanes are cool, but like
everybody say that. See, everybody's like commercials. Cool. Those are my babies. I actually love the
fighter
commercials.
jets are just that's what I like. Yeah.
Cool. A lot of people do love the fighter jets. I mean, because of course they have the power, they have the speed, they have the agility and all of that. For whatever reason, I think just because I was a young baby, 3 weeks old, being on a plane flying back to the States because I was born in Germany, that's my theory as to why I like commercial airplanes. But that's really cool. That's cool because anybody who has an interest in aerospace and airplanes and then says, hey, I want to take that next step to study them and actually like find out how to design them is awesome. So that brings me to you, Aniya. So you mentioned, and I mentioned in the intro, biology pre-med. So, from what my limited knowledge is, that's a journey to go on. But I'm curious as to what said, hey, I want to dive into this world of biology, and then pre-med, and, you know, kind of what that journey has been for you?
I just really was interested in medicine and all the types of things, like in the science major type. I was interested in the body and what the body does and how the body works and why the body does what it does. Also, like illnesses and stuff and how they develop and things like that and how you can cure illnesses and things. So I like research too. I like to research things a lot. So that really kind of helped me go into the biology course because I know that biology is learning about the body and all that type of stuff. And you really go deep into like the cells for sure.
Okay.
You know about a lot more than you think you know.
So I'm literally like listening to you, and you know, I think most of us who went through middle school or high school, you had to take biology or you had to take some class, right?
Yeah.
So in the same way I was asking Elgin, you also mentioned illnesses too, but like we all went through these classes, but you're like, look, I want to double down on this and focus. So is there something that really kind of made you say, this is cool and I'm enjoying learning about it, but I want to do more? You mentioned research. Like, was there something in your research that said, I want to go forward with studying this?
So when I was at Northeast, we had magnet projects. So
Okay.
at the end of every semester, like in May or in like April, you have to do a magnet project and you have to turn it in. And like, that's like a research project, basically. Some of them will be in a group. Some of them will be by yourself. But doing that research and looking up stuff about the topic and everything, like first senior year, I think, I did, or either it was junior or senior, I did HIV and AIDS. And looking up about that, it was very interesting. And seeing about all the information and all the new things that are being developed for the disease, because there's not really a specific cure for that. So that really like put me towards the biology.
No, that's really cool because it's, you know, you're finding out information on something like HIV, AIDS, and seeing that, you know, of course, there is no direct cure for it. So is there an opportunity for that or any other illnesses or diseases out there to make progress? Of course, we, you know, see a lot of, you know, commercials in the month of October where we're, you know, when we're filming this on breast cancer awareness. And so, you know, just different things like that and how health can advance to help us as human beings. So that's really cool that you saw something deep. And it's cool that the magnet school had projects like that could, you know, allow you to go deeper into a certain topic and find a niche and say, hey, I actually want to do this. So good on them. That's awesome. So, okay. So y'all both said, okay, I'm really interested in aerospace. I'm really interested in biology and pre-med. So I'm actually going to declare these majors and I'm going to go to college and study this. So you're in your freshman year. How are things going now that you're actually in it and you just started and you're a couple months into this journey? So Elgin, take it away for like your journey so far as a freshman in college.
It's fun. I'll say it's fun. But also doing aerospace engineering at all, it's not the easiest thing. Like you like have friends that are doing like business or psychology or something, and their schedules are kind of like, oh, easy, relaxed. But then you're looking at math class, another math class, but it's a science class. So like, you're looking at all these different like harder classes. I mean, you're just a freshman. So like, I think like it honestly makes you like grow up in a sense and really like zone in and focus in on your studies.
Wow. And I so relate with that. You know, we were talking before the episode of like how my friends would want to go out, but I'm like, I got calculus Friday morning, so I can't go out, you know, that sort of thing. Because I'm trying to be responsible, even though I'm trying to be a college student and have fun. It is a balance, you know, that you have to find. But well, good. I'm glad it's going decent, you know, and it sounds like you're starting to figure out what that balance is in regards to the challenging coursework, but also try to enjoy college and trying to have a good time. So Aniya, you're at Newman University, and now you're in your freshman year. And what has it been like for you?
I will say it was fun, but it is like challenging and it makes you work for sure. You definitely have to work hard. You have to be on your stuff because like he said, people will be psychology majors or something easy and their schedule is so easy. Like my friend, she's an athlete. She plays basketball. Okay. So she's the psychology major. Her classes are so easy and like she doesn't have to wake up at 8 a.m. every day to go to class all the time and stuff like that. But once you think about it, you're really doing this for you, and this is what you want to do. So if you want to do it, you have to put in the work. And that's what I had to realize this freshman year. You have to actually put in a lot of work to do what you want to do.
I think as I'm listening to both of your answers, I'm like, this is why there's STEMusic Book Scholars, because it's like we're looking for applicants who are really about it, and knowing that, yes, it's going to be challenging and hard, but that you're going to commit to the work and follow through. So it does take sacrifice. It is challenging, but it's definitely worth it. So, we talked about your majors. We talked about how freshman year is going. It seems like you are getting the hang of it, little by little. But if you had to like make a forecast and kind of go out into the future and say, okay, this is what I'm studying. Here's kind of where I'm at right now. But if I went out, 5-10 years, post-graduation even, where do you see yourselves? Like, it's sometimes hard because, that's kind of like such a direct question of like, where are you going to be? But it's like, there's so many options out there. But if you got to choose, if you got to paint that picture, Aniya, where would you be once you're completed with what you're doing at Newman?
So once I graduate from Newman, I plan on going to Meharry Medical School, which is in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
It's like an HBCU medical school because I didn't get to go to a HBCU during college. So I decided I wanted to go to a HBCU during medical school.
Okay.
And they have good rates and everything. I did my research on that.
Come on, research. Yeah. I didn't even know, but you're educating me because I remember you had answered this question for me in the pre-show, notes that we do, just with you all. And I was like, wait a minute, like, I'd be interested just for the audience, like, tell me a little bit more about this HBCU medical college. Cause I think this might be, I may have heard of it before, but I'm like, you refreshed that memory for me.
So I looked up a lot of medical schools. I was, of course, thinking about KU Med and everything.
Right. Backyard.
Because it's really nice. It's a nice medical school. They get you to where you need to be, and they have good connections with Newman because they're all here.
Sure.
So I was just looking, and I wanted to go to a HBCU medical school if I didn't get to go to one as a college student.
Okay.
So I was looking, and Meharry was the best one out of like all of them that I looked at, even though Xavier has a new one.
Okay.
I know that Xavier has a new medical school.
And that's in Louisiana?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I think so.
Okay. That's what I thought.
And they just became a medical school, so I'm going to keep watch on them as well.
Sure.
But for data-wise, it's what they have for now. They're not like...
Because they just got on the
radar.
radar.
Because they just got on the radar. So Meharry was the best one for sure that I was looking at. And I still am thinking about KU Med because they do have good connections with Newman. So I know for sure that I could probably get into KU Med if I wanted to. But I just rather get out of Wichita.
You want to travel and go see the world.
I gotta go.
And I'm not mad at the HBCU thing too, because I mean that we were talking about culture. We're talking about being able to be at a place in an institution where people look like you, and you're getting to get that education. Also, I love the city of Nashville, so that's really dope too. But okay, you can go out, but then we just need you to come back to Wichita. Okay, we need you to boost up our city. So that's very cool. Elgin, same for you. So, you kind of talked about it. You talked about, getting that sneak peek into Spirit Aerosystems and seeing what that world was like. So you kind of were able to get that, foreshadowing of what industry could look like. But I'm curious as to what you're wanting to do post, aerospace engineering degree.
I feel like I would obviously want to go into that field. But all in all, I want to help people. So I feel like if that doesn't work, I want to do something that's going to help people. So even if it is engineering, I want to engineer, but to help people.
Okay.
So maybe I'll engineer some type of things to help people. I don't know. I always wanted to give back. So if I could start a foundation or work for a foundation that would help me give back, and then lead other students into STEM, or I guess now STEAM.
Yeah. Right.
STEAM. I would do that. I see myself, having a family and just being a stand-up kind of guy. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love the idea of giving back. I think that's so important. It's definitely something I'm very passionate about, allowing others to see people who look like them in fields that maybe we're not as represented in. Of course, that's what STEMusic is all about for me. And so, and even just getting to talk with you all, the next generation who's going to go out and do some incredible things. So it's already cool that, you're thinking about that at this age of how to give back. So that's really cool. I think the future for both of y'all is bright. I'm excited to watch that trajectory. And speaking of trajectory, one of the things that we always try to do on the podcast is, highlight the music, right? So the music part of this, right? This is STEM music. So, and as you said, STEM or STEAM, right? So for the audience, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. But when we say STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math. So either way, STEM music is a part of all of that. And so, a big part of the podcast is just to chop it up about music, like what music you love, songs you listen to. So I did the hard work. It really wasn't hard, but I did the hard work of listening to the songs that you both submitted, and came out with some different bullet points. But then I'm curious as to, what you all thought about the songs yourself. So Aniya, we're going to start with you. So And you had me in my feelings. I was like, what? How's she picking these songs that are like right on with where my life is right now? So both of them are Jhené Aiko. While We're Young was the first one I listened to, and I actually watched the music video. And that was very interesting.
Yeah, it was.
It was such a good music video. It was y'all got to go watch it. It was very like she keeps forgetting her memory.
Yeah.
And the guy that, is falling in love with her, and I guess she's falling in love with too, has to keep reminding her daily. And it's like day 100, day
But he
66.
continues to
and
do
he
it.
continues
Yeah,
to
he
do
does.
it. So it was incredible. And so basically some of the lyrics and things that stuck out to me were finally decided on you. I'm like, if you don't get out my business, Aniya, why are you in my personal life like that? Like, but finally deciding on that person that you have feelings for, that you'll go everywhere with them, you're falling for that person, and I put lastly like all the feels. So like, why was this one of the songs that resonated with you?
I just like Jhené. I like to listen to songs that make me feel, I don't know, just like her songs make me feel like just vibing, just being there, just relaxing. Her songs make me relax. So I like to listen to her, and I like to listen to a lot of her songs because she makes me feel relaxed, and she also be in her feels, and I like that. Because I be in my feels too. And
it goes right into the next song, which was Blue Dream. And it was interesting because like we were texting back and forth, and you're like, oh, what about this song? What about that song? And I think that was one of the first ones you texted in addition to While We're Young for Jhené. And I listened to that one too, and I was like, now this really in my business. So the first thing I put, you said relaxing, I put soothing and water. So as soon as there was no music video, so I was just listening to the music, and I just thought of like the ocean. Like it's very, and don't she do the sound bowl things? Isn't she a part of like that community? So I can kind of see where the sound is coming from. But it's speaking my exact language is what I put here. Coasting on a coast when you open my eyes. I'm like, get out of my business. But when you meet somebody like that, like where your eyes are open, and she goes on to say like, don't wake me up. She feels so alive and she's in bliss. I was like, man, these lyrics are so beautiful. And now I'm going to be listening to this song on repeat. Yeah. So is that where you were feeling the same way when you engaged with that song?
Yeah, when I first heard that song, I was listening to it over and over again. I did not give it up.
That's going to be me. Well, good. I think it does bring more relaxation. So I'm like even thinking like in the morning, I try to stretch. I've been nursing a back injury from February. It's gotten a lot better. I'm like, I'm going to add that to my stretch playlist because it's
relaxing.
Very chill. And then, I'm in my feels right now. So,
right.
It's going to help with that too. So, all right, Elgin. So let's take it over to you and your music selection. Through the Wire, Kanye West. You picked a good song from an era of Kanye that I really, really love. Yeah. That album and that music. The first thing I put was legendary Shaka Khan sample, Through the Fire. So love Shaka Khan, and her voice is just so powerful. You reminded me that Kanye with the surgery on the jaw and that whole situation, like, sometimes you forget because the artist, he's grown and he's done different things from fashion to gospel stuff. And so it was like, oh, wow, yeah, this is like Chicago Kanye, Mm-hmm. And then just the theme of like surviving through the pain and the journey of it all. So how does this song resonate with you, and why did you choose it?
I feel like my life is a journey. Like, like you go through certain things, but like you have to continue to like go through it. Like you're not going to just wake up and it's all going to be gone. So you have to figure out a way to go through it. And like Through the Wire is like you're going through it. So like I thought about that, and I was like, that's a perfect song to like explain what I'm going through right now. Like, with school, it's different. Like, I'm used to being at home. Now I'm not at home. So like,
because you're living on campus. So even though you're in Wichita, you're living on campus. Are you living on campus too?
Yeah.
What? Y'all like, yeah. So it is. Wow, so that is different.
It's different now. It's not like that bad, but it's like you gotta kind of get used to your being by yourself.
Yeah.
And like doing your own thing. Like now, like you used to like telling your parents where you're going. Now it's just like up and I go. Like so like it's like. Through the Wire, like, I don't know, it just, like, resonated with me. Like, I don't know why. Like,
that makes a lot of sense, though, because even though you're in Wichita, you're, like you said, you're kind of having to own how you move through the world. You're kind of having to own those decisions. You're having to tell yourself, okay, I got class or I could go do something else, right? And all these boundaries and decisions that you have to make, even though you're still in the same city you grew up in, it is like a microcosm. Like, your campus is a microcosm of a whole other world.
I forget I'm here sometimes. But like, I'm still at home.
Wow. And I'm seeing the song. I get very visual in my head too with music and stuff. And I'm seeing like that journey and how that song could resonate with that. So the next song is, you trying to bring the church out in me. So, we all used to attend church together and stuff like that at St. Mark UMC. When I Pray by Doe, who is an artist that I believe is signed to Jonathan McReynolds, who's another gospel artist. And I love both of their music. But I don't think I had heard this song yet. So appreciate the introduction. But I put some of the words that she said in here, when the weight of the world is on your shoulders, and how you get over, like there's an old gospel hymn, how I got over, and that is what this reminded me of as I was listening to it. Basically like how you get through it. And the main lyric is, something happens when I pray. That life could be cold, it takes time. And then the last thing I put is this line where she says, you're never too busy for me. Like that, man, my relationship with God, I just feel like so many times I'm like, oh, I'll be out here just not following what you telling me. I'll be doing what I'm supposed to do, but you still got that steady love and you're never too busy for me. So how does that song resonate with you, and why did you choose it?
I think the song When I Pray is just like, it's one of those songs that like will play like randomly. Like it started playing like randomly, like in my like playlist. I'll just like play some music and it'll just
like
play
on a shuffle or something.
Yeah, okay. Like I was like, okay, like this song is not that bad. Like I don't really listen to church music all the time, but like that song, like I'll listen to, and so like I would listen to it, and it reminded me that like prayer like should be like something I do every day. Like like as a kid, like I just be like every now and then. Like but now that I'm getting older, I realize that, like that's important, and like it's something important to me. So like every day, it's kind of a reminder to like like don't forget. Like, where you come from, stuff like that. So
that's good, because life be lifing now. Now that you out of, look, I understand. I was in the same shoes where I'm like, oh my gosh, Lord, help me, going through the different transitions. And, I grew up in Raytown, Missouri, so it was 3 hours away to come to Wichita State when I was going to school. So I definitely resonate with that too. And trust me, my prayer life got a lot stronger throughout the journey. So it's good that you kind of have that in your arsenal of like things that you can use to help you along on the journey. So cool. Well, we're kind of getting to the close of the podcast episode, which is kind of crazy. I'm learning more about each of you as we're going through these questions. I'm curious though. So, you all are the scholarship book scholarship winners for 2024. So I'm curious how you heard of the scholarship, maybe what it has meant to you. And before we dive into the last question, so take it away, Aniya.
I heard of the scholarship through my mom. Was like another outlet, and then I was on a trip with Newman, and I came to Spirit. Yes, I was there.
Oh, not me feeling embarrassed because I was showing out. Man, that's hilarious.
There. And I watched you sing about your STEM music, and you were talking about it.
Not me being bashful in this moment right now. I totally forgot about that moment.
No, I remember that moment because I remember you when you singing and you talking. You were very confident in what you had to say. You really meant what you had to say.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yes, because y'all came and visited. This was summer.
This
early.
Was the early summer, like June.
June. Okay, that's right. Yeah. So kind of like creating that opportunity that you had, Elgin, of just bringing in students. So cool. Good. And shout out to your moms. Always supporting. Yes. How about you?
Same. My mom.
Okay.
It was like a weird time. I think it was like in April or May. I don't remember when I submitted it, but it was like that weird time in your senior year where like you just applying that.
Everything. Sure.
But I saw your scholarship. She sent it to me, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I apply to it. Because some scholarships, I was like, I'll put that.
Yeah. Or it's a lengthy, like we try to make sure the scholarship is not like, the application is not crazy.
Yeah.
So I saw yours and I was like, all right, let me jump on it. And I did it. And then I think I saw it on Facebook too. I got on Facebook one day and was randomly seeing. I barely get on Facebook.
Yeah.
So when I saw it on there, I was like, okay, I need to do the scholarship. Like it's twice I didn't see it.
This is telling you,
Yeah, something's telling me, let me fill this out. So I filled it out and then,
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And so, for STEMusic Nation, like, everybody watching, like we try to release those in the April timeframe, around the time you all were just talking about, spring essentially. And so we'll be doing it again in 2025 and just trying to continue to keep this legacy going to meet incredible students like you. And it's kind of wild for me because, we all went to church together and y'all got me feeling old on this podcast, which is crazy. But like to see you all literally grow up right before my eyes, but then also say, hey, I want to go into the world of STEM and to, jump into college with that journey is really awesome. It's inspiring for me. It's like, man, look at the next generation. Like, we going to be all right. I feel like K-Dot, we going to be all right. So in speaking of that, so now you're in college. Now you've decided to step into the world of STEM via degree. And so the final question we always ask the guests is, what would you tell someone who was that kid or is that kid now at St. Mark UMC or is that kid in the community who maybe is interested? Maybe they're in classes that not everybody looks like them, but they're like, hey, I think I want to get into STEM there's something interesting about it. Maybe I just did a tour at Spirit or Textron or something like that. What advice would you give them in regards to getting into the world of STEM? We'll kick it off with you, Aniya.
I would say just continue, because I know there's not as many people that look like you in your field, because right now I'm the only Black girl in my biology and chemistry class.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's like, and sociology class, and flight planning class.
And all the classes. No,
like,
because as a Black woman, I mean, that is like the minority of the minority. Yeah, in many situations, which is why I love that you're here, just like Kara Abbott in our last episode from last year's Scholars, because the representation is so important, and often it is a lonely road. But continue.
Yeah, it's definitely a lonely road. You don't see many people like you. Not everybody wants to be cool with you because you are the only person that looks like that in the field or whatever. You really just got to step out of your comfort zone, make friends with them. You know, you have to have allies or people that you really do, and you have to force yourself to be friends with people that you don't really want to be friends with. But you need them in the long run. You need them throughout your 4 years in college. You'll probably need them through medical school and stuff like that. So just make friends. Do what you know that you don't want to do, but just do it anyway. And it'll be a lonely road. But I know, like, if you have family to support, I have family to support. I just have family and friends. And I just think just make sure you have people to support you.
A community, a village, to support you. But one thing you just said, though, that is like, I love that you know this at this age, is, you know, sometimes we're in positions and places where we are the only person or not everybody looks like us. And sometimes it can, you know, we can make a decision of like, well, I'm just not going to talk to anybody else or whatever. But understanding that there are people who don't look like you who want to be a champion for you. So the fact that you know that at this age is so important, because there are people who don't look like us who want to see us succeed and win. And if we close off those opportunities to have conversations or even take in that support from them, we're just blocking our own blessings, you know, because sometimes they have the connect that we need, or sometimes they know the person that can open that next door, that next step for us. So that is so powerful that you know that yes, it is trying to find people who look like you, but it's also about welcoming in the allies who do want to support you. So that's powerful. That's powerful. All right, Elgin, what about you?
I would say the same. In engineering, we all know there's not a lot of people that look like me. Now that she said that, I thought the same thing. I'm the only Black male in all of my classes.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not weird, but it's kind of like different. Like, you know, you see other Black males around campus, but nobody like that is in nobody your color is in your classes you're taking. So you like, you know, sometimes you feel like an outsider. You know, you see like a lot of the other kids kind of just group together. Sure. And it's like, I don't have that group to just automatically clean together. And I think that's just a societal thing. I don't think it's like I just think it's a societal thing. But I think if you stay focused and like you realize like I'm not here for them, I'm here for me. And if you want to do it, you can do it. It will get hard, but I think if you have that support system, like your family, advisors, success coaches and stuff like that, I feel like you'll make it. There's so many different like opportunities for you to get tutoring and stuff now. And I guess crazy. Like there's literally tutors just for engineering students. Like we have like all these different resources. So like if you tap into your resources, you can make it work. But it's all a matter of do you want to make it work? Like if you're not gonna make it work, then I mean, you're just kind of like you're stuck at that point.
That kind of goes to perspective. You know, like what's your perspective on it? Because the reality that you're the only ones, right, in this experience you're having. But how do you look at it? How do you frame it? And how do you want to move forward with it?
Yeah, I feel like you just can't use that as like you can't make it look like it's a bad thing. Use it as a positive, like stand out. Like you're the only Black kid, well stand out as the only Black kid. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like to me, I'm gonna use that as like my one up on everybody. Like I'm the only kid that looks like me.
Like you know you're gonna be seen. You know.
Yeah, like I already stand out, so why not do good things?
Come on, not me being. I got chills over here. I'm inspired by both of y'all saying that. I love that you know this information at this stage in your career, because if you hold on to that, it's going to take you far. It is going to take you places. It's a little frustrating to hear you specifically, Elgin, because I went through the same program to say the same thing that I was saying at your age, you know, that it hasn't changed that much. But to your point, it is a societal thing. It is something that, you know, sometimes it's lack of exposure. Like if you didn't get that tour at Spirit,
I wouldn't know.
Right? Like you don't even know that this is a world. And that's so much of what I'm trying to do with STEM music is like reaching the younger generation, like the babies, you know, the 2 to 7 year olds, and then the elementary school kids, and then the middle school kids of like, look, even though people don't look like you in this, I'm an example of somebody who went through, got the degree, worked in the industry. And if this is something you do want to do, you can do it. Or if you didn't even know this was an option, like, look, this is what's out here. And you all sitting on this couch right now are doing the same thing for people who are coming behind you, and also for your peers, you know, because there are people that are your age watching this and saying like, okay, no, I can do this. Like, I'm going to take that advice to shine. I'm going to take that advice to build my community and make sure I have the support. And what you said too, the tutoring, you know, I always try to tell people, you know, I was on a television show, don't forget the lyrics, forgot the lyrics, didn't know the lyrics, had an opportunity to ask my friend for help. Did I ask him for help? No, right? Because I'm like, I need to save him for later on in the show or whatever. But in that moment is when I needed help, and I should have asked for help. And so it was a huge lesson for me of like, ask for help now because later may never come. So I love that y'all both have that mindset already of like, if I need the help, I need the help, and I should ask for it. So that's powerful stuff. Well, I just thank y'all so much for taking the time out to come on the STEMusic Podcast Next Generation. As you all know, I'm a resource, so it don't matter if you wanted to talk about life stuff, STEM stuff, school stuff, or whatever. I'm in your corner supporting you, obviously following your journey. We hope to have you back on the STEMusic Podcast as a professional in STEM to highlight your journey over the years you're getting ready to go through. So super proud of y'all. Congrats again on being STEMusic Book Scholarship winners. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you.
Thank you.